got that going. Let's see if I can get this going. This is recording. Is it? No, it's blinking. Now, is it? Yes, it's recording. Well, should we try this out?
Yeah, do you want to turn a light on me?
Yeah, let's get that.
Might be... If you can't see me, it's almost like this...
well, you know, the video isn't as important as...
the audio.
Yeah,
okay.
The audio is the radio show and the podcast. The video is like, I just want to be on as many platforms as possible.
Okay.
I figured this was going to be tricky because it's night and the only thing we have are these lights, right?
Yeah, but I think we're good so far. We can hear the audio, and I think we look pretty good in that screen right there.
I got chocolate over here, by the way.
Ooh, now you just made it.
It's it's in this right there. So anything you need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, York peppermint patty. You don't play.
No, man. Why would I? Oh. This is all like Christmas candy. It's like around the house forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
All right, this is a little shot of
I don't know. Let me get this going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Crossroads. My name is Reverend Brian Blair. This is a show where we ask our guests about how their faith life intersects with their everyday life. And my guest today is Kirk Douglas. He is the guitar player for The Roots. And if you're not familiar with their music, you might be familiar with the show they're on, Jimmy Fallon. Hello, Kirk.
Hey.
So full disclosure for everybody, Kirk and I worked at a summer camp together when we were little. What, were we like 18, 19? What were you?
About that age, yeah.
So this summer camp was an Episcopal church summer camp in Long Island, and we are driving out to Long Island right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk, a question for everybody. First of all, why don't maybe you tell us what you do for a living?
Okay. I'm in the band that Brian mentioned, the band called The Roots. I play guitar in that band. I sing sometimes. And, you know, it's a hip-hop band. And so a lot of emphasis on beats and rhymes.
I think a lot of people who might have heard of you these days would come to know you through watching Jimmy Fallon.
Mm-hmm. The Tonight Show.
You want to tell us a little bit about playing on The Tonight Show?
Playing on The Tonight Show? I mean, we're the musical backdrop for the show, essentially. We play a theme, and whenever guests come out to the show, we play their walk-on music, their theme music. You know, if you were on a talk show, you, the viewer, the listener, and you were about to be interviewed, when you come out to be interviewed on that couch, we play the music that you will be introduced to. And it's fun. There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of good vibrations on the set, backstage as well. I love my job, and I work with a lot of cool people, we've been doing the Tonight Show for 5 years. We did Late Night with Jimmy Fallon for another 5 years, so it's been 10 years of being on television, and
wow.
Simultaneously, whenever we're not on television, The Roots, we have our own existence as a touring band that puts out albums, and we will, on a weekend, we may go to Paris to play one show. You know, we may go to California to play one show on a weekend. You know, when the show's out for a week, and when the Tonight Show's not being filmed for a week, we may go and do a tour of Europe or something, or, you know, anywhere in America.
You might be on Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, well, we haven't done that in over 10 years.
Yeah, but you just said that line about love, 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 and it reminded me of that Yo Gabba Gabba spot you did.
See?
Love my family.
You can take the guy out of Yo Gabba Gabba, but you can't take the Yo Gabba Gabba out of the guy.
That was fantastic when you did that.
Yeah.
My daughter freaked out.
Yeah, well, they still play that, and
wow.
Yeah, we're entertaining many people through many mediums on many age groups. You know, it's just but it's been a blessing to be able to do that, to be able to make a living from that.
All right. Well, you just said blessing, so let's turn the conversation just a little bit. You and I met working at a summer camp. That's a church camp, right?
Right, Christian based.
What about these days? What are you up to spiritually?
Spiritually, I don't go to church very often. I go to church mainly with my, sometimes like my mom when she goes to church on Long Island, I'll accompany her. But my family, my wife is not into going to church like very much at all. The only church that my family enjoys going to. For myself, it can be kind of boring sometimes. Like if it's a very antiquated sort of mass, the way it's run. But I enjoy going to your church when you lived closer, Brian. I enjoyed going to your church because, and my family also, like, the only time they didn't really complain about going to church if they went was when they went to your church.
Because we always have a fireworks display.
Yeah, and pyro.
Pyro.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't front on a church. You can't front,
Nah.
So, and also my god sister, what is a god sister? She's the daughter of she's the daughter of my godmother.
Yeah.
So I guess technically that would make her my god sister. She's a priest, Maxine Barnett. She's a priest at a church in Wantagh, St. Luke's. Do you know St. Luke's in Wantagh?
Yeah.
She's the priest there.
Wow.
There's Father Christopher.
Yeah, he's gone?
He's not gone, but
Is she assistant?
She's an assistant, but
wow.
she does a lot of heavy lifting there.
How often do you communicate with her?
With Maxine, I communicate quite regularly.
Ah, it's nice.
But yeah, I enjoy going to her church too. I love her sermons, and I love. My favorite thing about a mass is an inspirational sermon. That's one of the things I enjoy about a mass the most, and I get those from your masses, and I get that from Mother Maxine's masses.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. So we met working at the camp.
Yes.
And I saw you all day, every day, walk around with your guitar, no matter what you were doing. Did you sleep with your guitar?
I didn't. It wasn't physically in my bed because guitars are not soft, and especially at that age, I could probably hurt myself.
Yeah.
With a solid piece of wood next to my adolescent body. So, but a guitar was definitely within reach of me in fetal position on a bed.
All right, so you were doing youth church music all summer long, right? You had your guitar, you're hanging out.
Yeah, we played a lot of inspirational songs from the church songbook. Yeah.
Did you find that in any way that sort of helped you develop as a musician? Did it guide you in any way?
Absolutely, because those songs that are in that songbook, the songs that we used to sing all the time, they're great songs. They're songs that and they'll know we are Christians by our love, shalom, shalom. I got the joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Those are just a few, but these are just like songs that that you, the viewer or listener, may not have heard of, but these songs were a part of my adolescence. And to anybody else that went to Camp DeWolf, or went to a folk mass in Long Island, I'm not so sure how far those songs have reached, but those songs were kind of what taught me how to play folk acoustic guitar. Those songs, and folk acoustic guitar, it could be secular too. So those same chords that would be in those songs are the same chords that would be in Bob Dylan songs, and the same chords that you would use to write. They were kind of building blocks that would help me when I went on to write my own songs. So yes.
What kind of music were you doing at that age, outside of the stuff at the camp?
At that age, I was kind of all over the place. I liked stuff I loved the Smiths, I also loved Living Colour, I also loved The Cure, I loved U2, I loved the Cocteau Twins, I loved Fishbone, I loved Stevie Wonder, I loved, Jackson 5, Motown in general. We're looking at between the ages of 15 and 19, 20. Those 5 years were the years where there's a lot of musical discovery in those years, and the music that I was making outside of camp world, church folk music world, was music that was kind of echoed those influences, Jane's Addiction, Van Halen, all sorts of things. The Red Hot Chili Peppers,
Oh, I forgot that time period. Everybody had to do that finger tapping stuff.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to play guitar, were you? It's funny. Just everybody I knew. It's hey, watch this. And everybody was doing that Van Halen.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so all that stuff.
These days, if you're writing your own stuff, what kind of genre would you stick it in?
What kind of genre would I stick it in?
Yeah.
It's sort of I'm gonna put out an album in April.
Oh wow! You got a name for it?
Yeah. The name of the album's Turbulent Times, and I think it's gonna be under the name 100 Watt Heart. It's kind of like a band name. It's pretty much the band name. I feel weird calling it Kirk Douglas, or I feel weird calling it Captain Kirk Douglas.
So your band, at least for the sake of this album, is 100 Watt Heart?
Yeah, that's correct.
Have you come up with... This is my first hearing about it. Have you guys come out with anything before this that we can look for?
No. Before, I used to have a band, I called it Dust Rays, or the Dust Rays.
Uh-huh.
And, but I want it to be 100 Watt Heart now. Because I just want it that way.
And what's the name of the album again?
Turbulent Times.
Turbulent Times.
Yeah. And you were asking what sort of genre it would be under. It's kind of whatever song I'm hearing at the time, If I'm hearing a song that's that I feel is sort of, it's kind of, I'd file it under rock. It's a rock album.
Uh-huh.
But there's songs that to me, that sort of remind me of, Black Sabbath, or songs that remind me of Hendrix, or that remind me of Zeppelin, or songs that would remind me of the Police, the songs that remind me, one song I think has kind of a Cocteau Twins sort of influence. Yeah, it's sort of, but it's it's sort of guitar centric in that, the guitar takes up a lot of real estate, as it does in, rock music. It's sort of what the name sort of alludes to, a 100 watt amplifier. It's made to be played at a loud volume.
Oh wow, great. So once this thing's out, are you gonna tour?
Oh, I don't really have many touring options, given my day job and then given the schedule of the Roots when said day job is not in session.
Yeah.
I'm like touring all, but I would like to do some shows, locally in New York, in support of that album. Maybe when it gets released, I'll do a couple shows surrounding that.
Well, maybe you come on up to Yukon.
Maybe.
We might even be able to, get you pizza or something like that.
Ooh. Okay. Well, yeah, it's like but as I was saying, like because of how much I tour when I'm not doing the Tonight Show, and because of the schedule of the Tonight Show, when I'm not touring, when I'm not working on the Tonight Show, I really love my home life, and my home really needs me and needs my presence as much as possible, because I have, I'm a dad, I have an 11-year-old, and I have a 13-year-old, and it's sort of a time in their lives when they really need me around.
Well, that's a great segue into same question, maybe a different angle. So, as somebody who grew up in the church, who considers yourself to be a person of faith in your own way these days, does that inform your parenting?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it does. I mean, I like every day, like it. I don't know exactly how my kids feel about it, but I think it's important for my wife and I to say grace before our meals, before most meals that we have. I think it's important to.
You don't have a favorite one, do you?
No. I mean, when I was younger, it was God is good, God is great. Let's give Him thanks for all our food. Amen. But what I didn't realize is I was supposed to be God is great, God is good. Let us give thanks for all our food. Amen. Because the good is supposed to rhyme with food, but good and food.
Yeah.
It doesn't even really rhyme that well.
No.
So now we just like give thanks for the food and whatever we're giving thanks for, and whatever we're sort of praying for in our lives. I've heard my kids say, that they are not sure that they actually believe in God.
How do you handle stuff like that?
Well, they can do whatever they want to. I can't force a belief in God in them, but I can be an example of one that believes in God, or whatever I believe for God to be. I mean, we have discussions of, every now and then we'll check in and we'll have our religious discussion, because it is the sort of thing that evolves over time. That's what I've observed from them. It's sort of evolved, and I think we're due for another conversation about that. But I do think that when things are going well in your life, I do believe in acknowledging that things are going well in your life, and I do believe in giving thanks, and whether it's what you believe to be God, or whether it's giving thanks to the universe, or giving thanks to just the divine. But I believe in appreciation, and also when things are not going so well, a plea to the divine, or a plea to that which is greater than all of us, for assistance.
Well, let me ask you about this.
To have food on our table,
yeah,
and to be sharing a meal together, to be alive, to experience that, I believe to be a gift. And I believe that's a gift that should be acknowledged and celebrated.
So it sounds like great thing to show your children, gratitude. I'm wondering about the lyrics on the album. You're talking about gratitude. You seem like everything's going great. Does that show up on the upcoming album?
Well, I mean, looking at it, I mean, you know, there's a song, Turbulent Times, and that's sort of just my, you know, kind of confusion and sort of my acknowledgement of, like, how, you know, just basically, like, almost as a child, you know, asking, like, why is there evil in this world? You know? And sort of not necessarily knowing an answer or coming to any sort of, like, conclusion, but more just maybe a suggestion that, you know, trying to, like, live in such a way that, you know, just to try to treat other people the way that you want to be treated, you know, basic stuff that you learn in kindergarten.
Would you say it's more of like an exploration?
An exploration? Yeah, I guess that's pretty accurate. But it's more, but it's posing the question, like, just like why does mankind kind of, you know, treat each other, you know, in
so well?
Yeah, why are people just so damn kind to one another? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where that song comes from. And then there's other stuff, you know, just personal experiences, you know, like, you know, why did somebody borrow my guitar and throw it? You know, why did, you know, some stuff's about, you know, the birth of my kids. Some stuff's about, yeah, I guess that would be considered dad rock. But the birth of any child. Some stuff's about just trying to make this year the best year you can possibly make it. Some stuff's just, you know, about, like, my experience being in a band and being on the Tonight Show.
Did you write a song about me?
That's on the next album.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Thanks. Maybe it'll be about this very night.
This, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm running out of questions here. Did you think of anything? Anything you would want to share, if you could? Like, if you wanted to get the word out on this kind of topic, and something you would want to say? Nothing comes to mind?
I'm thinking. Thankfully, you know, we can edit all of this. You know.
What exit are we going to, by the way?
Oh, exit 61. That's my exit.
Just got 15 minutes.
Yeah, but you know, we're talking about, you know, you know, my faith and I do believe in spending time. I do believe in meditation. Like, I try every morning. I try to wake up before everybody and, like, you know, sit quietly and I feel like there's a lot of noise, you know, whether it's from social media, just from society, and it's very easy to lose track of who you are.
Would you consider that to be a regular prayer practice?
Yeah. I'm, you know, it's a daily meditation.
So a lot of people think of music as a prayer practice or a meditation. How about you?
I think it depends. I feel like you know, there's the idea of meditation as to, like, just being a state where there is nothing.
Do you want this York pepper patty?
No thanks.
Right.
But thank you.
So, meditation.
Yeah, there's a state you can get into musically where you're not thinking about anything and you're sort of becoming the music. I do believe that to be like a sort of meditation. But I also listen to, some guided meditations that are just sort of just how to, like, I'm trying to think of, like, how to put it into words. And realize
that's good enough. I listen to guided meditation.
Yeah, but, like, what is it guiding you through? Like, I if I was listening, I'd be like, well, what is it guiding you through? Like, what do you need to, like, learn? Like, I guess the idea of being alive on this earth and how we're only here for, there's some things that we believe, like, matter a whole lot, and they actually don't matter as much as we think they do. And I believe in getting reminded of, like, what's really super important, and being reminded of, like, what's really, like, not important at all. Like, the way you come across on social media, I believe that can get really wonky, and just, like, when you're really, like, comparing yourself to other people.
Well, that raises a great issue. How do you approach being a celebrity? And is there sort of a spiritual element to it at all?
Well, it's really hard for me to consider myself a celebrity. And the reason that's the case is because you have so many different levels of quote-unquote celebrity. And, like, I see celebrities on a regular basis. And, when I think of a celebrity, I think of somebody that's coming on The Tonight Show and to be interviewed by Jimmy Fallon.
Right.
I'm on The Tonight Show every day playing music, but I'm not going to be on the couch to be interviewed by Jimmy Fallon unless some crazy thing happened. I don't know what that crazy thing would be. Like, if I, like, if somebody, like, fell into the subways in New York City and, like, I jumped in and I pulled them out.
Yeah.
And then the subway just missed them. And somebody, like, caught that on film, and that went viral.
Right. Well, let's.
I could see myself being interviewed for that, but it'd have to be a sort of series of events that would lead to something like that. Anyhow,
let me ask the same question a different way.
Okay.
So you have achieved some level of fame. People know you.
Okay.
Guitar player on the Roots, Jimmy Fallon. You tour, so you have to deal with things coming at you.
Yeah.
Along those lines. And you talked about social media.
Yeah.
And so those things can be very tricky.
Yeah.
How do you approach it?
I approach it by remembering that it's just like, people are into like an image of you. And that has, I happen to be the person that is associated with that image, but I am not my image, like, I years ago I heard, I guess it was Dana Carvey saying, being a celebrity, it's like, if there was this orange, and that orange was on TV, and then people, like, saw that same orange in a restaurant, like, they look at that orange and be like, that's the orange from TV, but it's just a freaking orange.
So you're saying you feel like an orange?
Sometimes I feel like a vegetable. But I guess it's just a reminder that it's like, people may treat you that special, but, like, you're special. Yeah, you're special, but for different reasons. You're special in the way that everybody on this planet, every life is special, and everybody's special in that way. But I can't, if I'm thinking I'm more special because I'm on television, like, then that's setting me up for, I'm looking to external I'm looking for happiness outside of me. And if that happiness outside of me was to suddenly fade or stop, and everything stops, everything's temporary. Happy, sad, good, bad, everything's like temporary. Like once that stopped, then I would be like, oh man, if I was depending on that for my happiness, then that would be really sad for all that stuff to end if I'm looking to the external for validation. So I need to make sure that I find my validation from within. And that's, you know, that's something that it's not always easy to do, to find my validation from within, you know. And it's like, as a performer, you get sort of trained to be looking to please an audience. You get trained to be looking for validation from outside. That's like, it's like, wait, isn't that your whole thing as a performer? It's like, yeah, and I need to like sort of take care of my inner health, and that's why it's finding love, you know, from a spouse, having children, finding love from your children. These are all things that are nurturing, you know, having love from a parent, you know. But and the thing is, not everybody gets that. Not everybody is born into a family from, you know, and gets parents that are loving. And that's, you know, what about those people? It's like, you have to like find what it is that gives you joy. And you know, thankfully for me, music is what has done that. And so I need to like make sure I maintain my relationship with music, whether it's music that I listen to that I get satisfaction from, or whether it's music I create. You know, that's what I discovered that works for me.
Well, what are you listening to these days?
You know, there's this beautiful band called Khruangbin. I think it's spelled Khruangbin.
Is there an umlaut somewhere in there?
No. But I think it
What
means...
kind of stuff is this?
It's kind of psychedelic. Sort of like, it's got influences that are like, sound like Thai, Malaysian, like African sometimes, funk, you know.
Is this instrumental?
But it's like probably like 75% instrumental.
They sing in English?
Yeah, they sing in English. There's a lot of oohs and ahs and stuff, but like minimal vocals.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-piece, and their sound is just so intoxicating.
How'd you find them?
I found them online. There's this website from Premier Guitar called Rig Rundown, where you like kind of look at the equipment of all your favorite guitar players.
Oh wow!
And so they were on the show.
Are you on that? Are you on the Rig Rundown?
There's an older version of that with me doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So I looked at theirs and I was like, oh, this stuff looks. Just the equipment they're using looks really interesting. And I went and checked out their music, and then I was like, oh, okay, their stuff's really good.
Wow.
So I've been listening to them.
Where are they from?
Austin, Texas. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've been listening to that. I listen to a lot of Daptone music. That's you know, Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, like kind of like new music that's sort of made with a old school aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still, you know, sometimes I'll still put on some Hendrix, sometimes I'll still put on some Zeppelin. Sometimes.
You still listen to records, right?
Oh, yeah. When I get out to Long Island, I plan to listen to a lot of records. You can join me if you'd like.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like.
Why don't we wrap this up with this? One thing I hear that I think is very spiritual, whether a person might put a label on it or not, is the echo of your gratitude about things in your life today, your approach to life. And I think gratitude is definitely a sign of being healthy spiritually. And I like hearing that you feel gratitude for your family, your children. You said earlier in the interview, even just being able to have food on your table and being able to play music with the Roots and on Jimmy Fallon. And I think whatever a person practices for their spirituality, or whatever they might consider to be a faith practice, to live a life of gratitude is deeply spiritual. So I'm glad you were able to talk about all the things you're grateful for.
You know what I did? I did a 6-day water fast at the start of this year.
Ooh, what's a water fast?
That's where you consume nothing but H2O.
For 6 days?
Yeah.
Is there anything in the water? Like some people I know put like lemon juice or some spices.
I put nothing in the water.
So for 6 days you only drank water?
Yeah.
When was this?
I came home from that tour that I did between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes.
And I've been like, I work out, I do my meditation, I work out, I like doing everything I can do to live as optimally as possible, because I'm getting older. I want to do this for a long time, and I just want my body to be in the best shape as possible. And on that tour, I ate a lot of things that maybe I shouldn't have eaten. I didn't get to exercise. I just, I kind of fell off the wagon, so to speak. I wasn't drinking or anything, but just I wasn't being the healthiest. And then I've always wanted to. I've done the Master Cleanse before. I've done I did a 3-week juice fast a year and a half ago, nothing but green juice. And I've always wanted to do water fast. I had 6 days off from the Tonight Show, and I didn't have any obligations. And there was any time where I'd be able to do it, because you're not supposed to do anything when you're doing a water fast.
Right.
Horizontal is your friend.
Did you get cranky?
No.
What were the effects?
The effects were, I lost a bunch of weight. I did develop kind of like a clarity, towards the end of it. There was kind of like a fogginess for first few days. But afterwards, I on the 5th day, I stopped. 6th day, I really didn't feel hungry anymore.
Wow.
And but I really, eating is such a human thing. It's what we all do as humans. It keeps us alive, and but not eating and just, because I was living with eaters. I was, in some cases, I was preparing food for my family. Because
You want a kiss?
I feel like the fast was its own reward.
Thanks.
But I felt it kind of felt like I died.
Oh wow.
But I was still around. I felt like a spirit. I felt like all the things that I would feel like I'd be missing out on if I had died. I was still able to kind of do them, be around, but I just wasn't eating. So I was able to I sat at the dinner table while everybody was eating, but I wasn't eating.
Oh wow.
And that's just what it made me think of. That's kind of what it felt like.
How was your family? Were they helpful?
Yeah, they were helpful. I think because I fasted before, I didn't fall into the feeling hungry or feeling cranky. The difficult aspect. There was a couple times I woke up at night and was from hunger. 61, yeah. I did experience some of that. I wanted to go 7 days, but on the 6th day, I felt my heart starting to beat really fast.
Oh wow!
And then from things I was reading, it said if you you might experience that for like a few seconds each, but if you experience that for like, you know, a bunch of minutes, it's time to end your fast. So I did. But that first taste of orange juice.
Yeah? Heaven?
Oh, in a glass.
Well, we're back to gratitude.
Right? Yeah.
Wow. So, would you say that you had a transcendent experience?
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't like this,
You gotta tell me what to do, right?
You gotta make it right, I'm sorry. It was pretty profound. You develop like a huge appreciation, and it's still there. The appreciation for food, and also empathy for those that don't have food. Just you really feel like the sense of empathy for those that have no choice but to starve. So yeah, so there's that. But I felt like if we're doing an interview like this, I feel like I had to kind of mention that.
I think that was one of the best parts of what we talked about tonight.
Cool.
That's like a very legit, serious spiritual practice right there.
Yeah.
That I don't think many people do.
I highly recommend. Like, it's definitely something that's, I feel like something you should experience when you're alive. Just at once in your life, just to know what that's like, and just to go. You know, I really feel like I went through something, and yeah, you just look at your world differently, and you know, in this, if there only is one life. You know, I think it's cool to see it from as many different perspectives as possible. I'd rather not see it from jail, though. I'm cool with not seeing it from the perspective of the one that's behind bars.
Well, I had a great time talking, Kirk.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on the show, doing this big favor, saying hello to everybody.
Would you be offended if I spit this candy out?
No, you got to do what you got to do. Did you hit anybody?
No, there's no good.
Okay. All right, well, we're signing off from WHUS Radio here in Storrs, Connecticut, the radio station for Yukon. And I'm going to say goodbye to our special guest today, Kirk Douglas of the Roots. Kirk, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye, all out there. Stay safe. Don't eat the yellow snow. Be thankful. You're alive. You're having an experience. And if things are not going so well, this will pass. If things are going really well, enjoy it. Because that's going to pass too.
And on that note, thanks, Kirk.